Hi, Nicole. I am just setting things up here. I've got a different camera this time. I'll message. Okay. So I just figured I'd try it out for a little bit before I got to go get my son. And how are you this morning? I gotta pull up the instructions because I'm actually doing something a little different. I'm going to do a drawstring this time. I've never done that before. Where are you? One sec here. It might help if I actually could see my phone here. There we go. Okay. Oh, I got a ton of emails all of a sudden. There we go. Hey, Holly. All right. Oh, I've got the wrong thread. Of course. Oh, wow. It's still early for you. Yeah, we had a little bit of fog this morning. At least the windows were all fogged up, but it was not like we had recently. We had some of that Silent Hill fog. I always love looking down the street when that stuff's around. Actually, like, makes my neighborhood look cool. Bonnie is the bucket bag from Swoon. That one's been out for a number of years. I think it's been out longer than I've been sewing. And I started in 2020. It's a very nice and traditional. Here, let me show you the. Yeah. I've made this one, I don't know how many times, but I've also made what seems to be a permanent accident. There's one part in the pattern where you're supposed to, I don't know if it's common with only Swoon. It's the only Swoon is where I've seen it, but they have you double up on the fabric, which is a technique that I absolutely hate. It's unnecessary bulk. And one day, forgetting which pattern I was following, I didn't double up on it, and I ended up with a bucket bag that was about 2.5 or 3 inches taller than it was supposed to be in the end. And I just kind of stuck with it because I liked the way it looked. A nice tall bucket bag, and it wasn't super bulky. I personally think that it's like a waste of fabric to unnecessarily double up on your fabric. Like when doing applique or reverse applique, rather. Reverse applique is when you cut out the holes and put the fabric behind, I think. And so if you're cutting out a face that's this big on a bag that's this big, there's no need to have backing this big. And I prefer to cut it out just slightly larger than the cutouts that it's going to be sitting behind. So when it comes to this bag, I didn't see a point in having, 2.5, 3 inches of vinyl sitting on top of cotton when I could have just cut the cotton piece shorter. So I'm just going to do my thing. And it works out better. But other than the waste of fabric, it is a very nice bag. It's definitely my go-to. Although I'm also quite fond of Oro Rosa's Bella bucket bag. I've made a few of those. Not as many Bonnies, not as many of the amount. I have not made as many Bella bags as I have Bonnie bags. I cannot speak. But I cut these out last night. I've got a second one that I'm not going to start yet because I'm just avoiding work. I have to film a tutorial for the update for the Narcissist, and at this point I am just tired of staring at my own patterns, so I figured if I could sew a few bags by other designers, then I might feel better about jumping back into my own patterns. The Bella is absolutely gorgeous. Alexis did amazing with that one. I find it a little uncomfortable to like reach inside and maneuver around the center divider, but that also makes it so unique. And it's such a gorgeous bag. I actually did a Prince bag that hasn't sold yet. I might pull it off of my website because it's not what I typically make for the people, the clients that shop on my site. I'll pull it out here. I gotta bag this one up still, but look at that. I got that nice panel from K&A Fabrics along with that. And I do love the way it turned out, although I wish I would have used a different contrasting vinyl because this is really stiff. But I love the shape of the bag, and I do love the divider. It's just I'm not used to putting center dividers into a bag, so I guess it's only awkward for me. But oh, look at this sweet, sweet pull that I scored. Too perfect for the bag. And how did that work with the magnetic snaps? Because I know with the Bonnie, it makes the closing kind of awkward. Thank you. I've done one Bonnie with a recessed zipper and I did not like it. So now all the Bonnies that I do are just open. I think I may have done one with a magnet once or twice, but I didn't like it because I don't do that anymore. I can't recall. Is it easier? I just wish there was a way in the bottom, you know how you got those two openings? I wish there was a way to close that off easily, because having both compartments completely divided, if you like drop your keys in the bottom and they get stuck in one of those little holes and then you're yanking it, trying to pull it, I would imagine that you could break your keys or tear the fabric. So that's my only actual gripe about the pattern, but I'm not quite advanced enough to be able to mentally figure that one out. So I just make it the way it is. Yeah, that one's birthed from the bottom, isn't it? So I guess there would have to be enough fabric to come down and stitch into, like, go in through the you'd have to add like another zipper pocket on the back. Like, let me see here. So yeah, like where the slip pocket is back here or in the front, we'd have to add a zipper pocket so that once the bag is turned out, you could stitch up the center divider and the bottom of it through the zipper pocket, right? Maybe one day I'll figure that one out. I'm not quite that advanced. Currently, I've got a bowler bag design that I've been messing around with for a year, but I'm trying to figure out a way to make it more unique, because it seems like every time I start designing a pattern, 15 other designers come out with the same style bag. Obviously not exactly the same, but like when I did the Sanctuary tote, I did it for a strike for K&A Fabrics. And so I posted the pictures of it, and then I sat on the pattern for a year. But I kid you not, like not even 3 months later, like 5 designers came out with very similar patterns. And I'm not saying they copied the Sanctuary tote, but it just feels weird to work on and release a pattern that everybody else has at the time. So I just have been trying to rework my bowler bag because I love bowler bags. That is my absolute favorite bag style. So it would be suckish for me if I didn't have one in my pattern stash that I created. Oh, that's interesting. Birth it through the divider. I would think the opening would be a little too small though, because it is a pretty short zipper. Oh, bowler bags are so much fun. One of my favorites is actually the Colette bowler bag. Oh gosh, who is that by? Is that Lavender and Twine? No, let me see here. Whoops, I can spell. No, where is it? Yep, that is exactly why I love bowler bags so much, because I really love vintage. There we go. Kaya Papaya. That's the Colette. And like, this is how my Colettes turn out. So I really love it because it's a boxy bowler bag, which you don't see a lot of. You typically see the rounded ones. That is definitely my favorite bowler bag style and pattern. The How You Doing bowler bag is nice looking, but construction is kind of tricky sometimes. I personally hate binding, and so I followed the tutorial video which shows how to do it turnout style. So anytime I can avoid binding, I do. Although the reason why the Narcissist was originally bound is because I was trying to force myself to get used to binding and getting better at it. But I quickly realized that forcing myself to do something that I hate was not beneficial at all. So every time I would get a custom order from one of my clients requesting a Narcissist bag, I'd like be cursing them. Why the hell would you make me make that damn bag? I don't want to make that bag. And then I ended up switching it so that it is now drop-in. So that's one of the many updates that I've done to the file. Everything seems fine with it all with my testers, but like I said, I just reached that point where I'm sick of looking at my own patterns and working on them, but I just need to take a bit of a break. So I've been working on the update since January. And recently, who was it? I don't remember. I heard some designers say that sometimes they need to take oh, sorry, there it is. Sometimes they need to step back and focus on other things, and how if they're working on a pattern and it's going to take a month longer than they anticipated, or if it's going to take 6 months or however long it's going to take, that it's okay to take that time to make sure that what they're working on is perfect or the way that they want it to be. And so I stopped kicking myself and decided just step back, take a breather, do what you got to do, and then get it done. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking a breather, and then when I'm refreshed enough, I'll get the tutorial done, finalize the instructions, and get the update put out. I love a good drop-in, but if you've seen how the Narcissist was originally put together, I did a hybrid lining where it's part turnout, part binding. So you literally only bind the bottom of the bag, and the rest of the bag is nice and tight because of that binding, giving it a nice crisp look. But I've had a lot of people complain about how it was made, and I don't blame them because it's kind of a pain in the ass to turn a bag right side out and then turn a bag right side in and then turn a bag right side out again later. So I just stopped that, and I don't know why. The update has, aside from the reworking of the binding to drop in, I've added a front pocket as well as some of the lining construction is slightly different. Some of the pattern pieces have changed. I've made some modifications to the flap design ever so slightly. One of the biggest updates is that I've added a turnout style flap because a lot of people don't like to edge paint, and I've also actually added the flap instructions for the Batwing flap, as well as the instructions for the top handle and all of those pattern pieces. So it's essentially a complete overhaul. And then there is also a slim version that hadn't been released yet. So there's literally 2 bags in this pattern along with all of the other updates. So I will be happy when it's finally out. Where's my... I believe these are the bottom pieces. Yeah. All right, so see, this is what I was talking about when attaching the bottom piece, the way it is in the instructions. You've got the full front or back panel, and then you literally just lay the bottom piece down over the bottom of the fabric. And that is, in my opinion at least, a huge waste of fabric. So I always add it this way and then fold it down so you get the extra height. There's also another bag. I can't remember which bag it was that, what it's called, but I made it one time for a gift for my son's teacher last year. And at the very top of the bag, you've got like the whole bag exactly how it should be. But then they did this technique with folded vinyl. So you take essentially your flat piece and then you fold everything in like you're making a strap. And then you attach it to the top of the bag. I thought that was the most ridiculous thing. And I did it, but it was really hard to work with. And I did not like that at all. So I don't think I'll be making that pattern again. Yeah, it's like a facing, but it wasn't for like a zipper or anything. It was just decorative. That's why I don't get it. It was literally decorative, and it was their way of hiding the raw edge. And it's like, then why didn't you just cut the whole top of the bag down shorter and, stitch and flip it up? It would have had the same exact look, except it wouldn't be so damn thick. I don't know. I mean, I guess I can't really knock Swoon too much. Those patterns have been around for a very long time, and I haven't. But from everything that I have learned sewing, one of the things that I've noticed is that there are some pattern designers who are so worried about the look of the bag that they're less concerned with the construction. And I would rather use less fabric, because there's enough waste as it is, all the weird shapes that we're always cutting out. And we end up with these little scraps that are totally unusable. And I think that's bad enough, but unnecessarily adding that, and knowing that some of the people that are going to be attempting these patterns don't have a machine capable of going through 4 layers of thick vinyl. So I try to make it a little more user-friendly when I design patterns. And my tester team has some people who only sew on domestics, some who only sew on industrials, and some who will go back and forth. So I make sure, when I've got something with them, okay, who's sewing on a domestic this time? And how is this working out? And how is the thickness? And was this tough for you? And I like to make sure that my patterns are, first of all, beginner friendly every time. Second, they have to be domestic friendly. As tricky as the Narcissist is in its original form, I have sewn it on a domestic. I also had testers who sewed it on a domestic. So that's probably the toughest bag that I've ever written. But it's definitely my favorite. It's also the most popular with my clients. That one in the Bat Company bag. I will definitely agree with you there. That is one of the reasons why I have the Bat Company wallet and the Just Checking checkbook, because you can actually use relatively small scraps for the checkbook, but with the Bat Company wallet, you're looking at like scrap pieces like this. 3 of them will make a flap. So that, and the fact that I really wanted to have a bat winged wallet that was a little different than just adding a wing flap on a coffin wallet kind of a thing, which I've never tried. I think they look good, but I wanted something different. Oh God, I'm dreading Christmas season. My 17-year-old has gotten this very entitled attitude out of nowhere. She was not raised that way. But she'll sit there and say, you know, if we're going to the store, do you want to come with us? No, I'm doing stuff. And she'll be playing games on her phone all day. And I'll be like, but we're going to get you some clothes because your clothes are getting a little bit too baggy. You need something new. And she'd be like, no, don't waste any money on me like that. I don't want you to spend money on me unnecessarily. Okay, fine. And then a couple of days later, she'd be like, can I have $30? I want to buy somebody a game. It's like, you don't want us to spend money on you, but you want to spend money on a complete stranger? Just some internet person that you happen to meet in a chat room. You want to go on Steam and start buying them games with our money, but you won't allow me to buy you a pair of pants that actually fit you. I will never understand this kid, you know? And again, in the same breath, she'll be like, well, I don't want you to spend money on me. And then she'll turn around and say, but I want a laptop. I don't get it. And then my son, he's 9 and he's grateful for anything and everything he gets. But he has a case of eyes are bigger than the stomach with everything, literally everything. Lately, his newest obsession is instruments. His teacher, he's got a brand new teacher this year, and she has an electric keyboard in her classroom. And so after he saw that when he met her for the first time for orientation, he started asking for a keyboard, and then he asked for a piano, and then he asked for a guitar, and then he saw my old bass in the closet and said he wanted a bass, and then he said he wanted an electric drum kit, and then he said he wanted to get a saxophone, and then he said he wanted a flute, and now he basically wants this whole 30-piece band in his bedroom right now. And I'm just like, no, kid, not happening. But the difference is, if I say no to him, he'll accept it. If I say no to her, she pouts and throws a tantrum because I'm the most horrible mom in the world who won't let her spend money on what she wants to spend money on. I said, get a job, kid. I had a job when I was your age. I had my first job when I was 13, and nobody told me how to spend my money. Get a job and do what you want. I just skipped 2 stitches. That's always fun. Ooh, happy birthday to your kids. I wish mine was 32. The 17-year-old. She'd have a lot more smarts right now, and I think we'd probably get along a lot better. Hey, Melissa. Teenagers are just... I gotta sit and think, was I really that bad when I was a teenager? Yes, I probably was. But I still had a job, and I hung out with my friends, whereas my 17-year-old never leaves the damn house. She can't be bothered because, you know, she might miss someone in a chat room or something. Plus, that would entail leaving the house and putting on a bra and clean clothes, maybe even taking a shower. And then the effort to go somewhere. Yeah, I know I was a huge pain in my mom's ass. Big time. didn't help that sometimes she always had multiple jobs, but it was usually anywhere between 2 and 5 at a time. Oh, and I definitely made things a lot harder on her than I should have. But of course, when you're that young, you don't know any better. I didn't want to hear anything from my boomer mom. I'm so used to mine, I don't even feel it anymore. It's just like a second skin to me. Then again, I also buy my bras at Lane Bryant, and they tend to be, no, not Lane Bryant, I'm sorry, Torrid. They tend to be very comfortable. At least the ones that I get are. Although I've been contemplating learning how to make my own, because I've seen a lot of people making their own undergarments. I gotta say, I'm intrigued. Holly, I think your son and my daughter would probably get along quite well. It's too much effort to have to leave the house. Yes, but Melissa, to them, they don't stink. Everything smells fine. They definitely do not need to wear different clothes if it doesn't reek like armpits, right? Oh my God. In the description of this live, I put the link to Lauren's vinyl that I got here. My God, this stuff feels like real leather. It is so nice and so soft. I'm obsessing. I'm going to have to see what other colors she has. I bought 3 rolls of the black, but I know I'm going to need more. And I'm supposed to be on a fabric freeze. Can't even listen to my own rules. I mean, look at that. It even looks like leather. This stuff is so nice. This vinyl is from Mormino. Or Mormino, I guess is the website. And Lauren Mormino is the owner, as we all know. Right? I just the other day finished another bag with this print, and I did a red glitter vinyl. I believe it was also from Mormino. Where did I do with that? Nope, I think this one I got from Indo Love Creations. Barrel bags. One of my favorite style bags. This one's also by Swoon. This one also has really crappy construction. The thing that I think I hate the most is the fact that this is a drop-in bag, and you wouldn't typically do drop-ins for a bag this style. Because look at that. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. You literally drop it in and then you top stitch over it, and you have to make sure that it lines up along the zipper so that you catch it, but also so that it's not too close to the teeth. But the problem is you can't get it all the way into the corners to line up properly. So I ended up adding an extra rivet on either side just to hold it open. And I've made this one a few times, and I keep forgetting that I hate the construction of it and that I need to do a turnout style. So the next time I do it, I need to do a turnout style. Holly, check out, well, JJ's is now a part of J&R Edwards. They are currently running this print along with a few others for their holiday line, but then at the same time, we are going to be, or they are currently running similar style prints for their Valentine's Day, anti-Valentine's Day thing. There is a Golden Girls print. There's this tattoo print that I really love. This one I actually bought from JJ's last retail drop. And that's the one that I showed earlier on the bowler bag. And I believe there's like 9 prints currently for it. And I think 4 of those are horror themed, and then the rest are not. I believe there's a Golden Girls one. And then I think there's a couple that are Hello Kitty. I can't remember all of them, but they've got some cute prints going on. So if you check with them, you might find something that you like. You actually write that you hate the pattern? I have a folder on my computer, and I just put everything into a folder that says nope. Bags that I will never make again, so that they're not even in the rotation. Do a drop-in lining on the next live. I could. I don't make that pattern enough. I really do love it. You know what I'd like to try is the barrel bag that Oro Rosa has. I bought it, but I haven't made it yet. But it looks really, really cool. Let me pull it up here. Oh, nope, it's not called nope. My folder is called nah. Oro Rosa. That would be So it's called the Quilted Barrel Bag. No, Quilted Hortensia Barrel Bag. It's really cool looking. Oh my God, that light is just... Move that out of the way. So it's more of an oblong shape to this side, more oval than what the Swoon one looks like. Let's see, she's usually got other pictures in here. There we go. So, I mean, there's a lot of testers that look really, really good. So it's definitely one that I want to try. Oh, that's my alarm. I gotta leave to get my son in 10 minutes. But apparently he loves me being live on YouTube now, so I'm gonna have to come back when I do. Yeah, I did see that there is binding inside of it. I don't mind binding as much as I used to. I'm not great at it at all, which is why I typically do black with black thread on everything I bind because it's easier to hide. But knowing that Alexis made it, it's going to be constructed a lot better than the one that Swoon did, because she is very, very particular about the way her bags are done. And she spends a lot of time working on them, perfecting them. I don't think I will ever do a barrel bag pattern, or barrel bag. Definitely want to do a few bowlers. Can't do barrels. But I do think that those bags, because of the fact that they are circular on the inside, are best with binding. And I'm not even paying attention. I just started sewing this the wrong direction. I love it when I stray my train of thought. Oops. Too late. But at least when I did catch it, I didn't even go in for the full seam allowance. So I never crossed where my stitching was supposed to be. I really don't want to mark up this vinyl. It's so pretty. Like I have a few pieces of leather, real suede and cork that I just don't want to touch. But the way this one feels, it's just like, do I even need to touch it? Because this one is, oh God, I am really in love with this vinyl. I don't know where she found it, but oh my God. Thank you. I like this angle much better too. I'm not a fan of straight top down. And I'm not a person who likes to be on camera, and since I have to sometimes edit my videos, I don't want to stare at my own mug, so I just don't put it on camera. But I think this angle works well enough to see what I'm doing. All right. So this is not a part of the pattern, I don't think. But I like the way the top stitching looks on all of the seams. So and I need to cut this off. And I just realized that I forgot that I was going to add a pocket on the front. Oh well, it's not too late. This fabric is soft enough that I could still get away with it. All right. I'm gonna have to head out as soon as I get these two top stitched. See, look at that. You can't do that with all vinyls. How amazing is that? It's so squishy. I didn't stretch this enough. There we go. All right, that looks good. Well, as good as my crappy top stitching can look. All right, I am going to head off and go get my son, and then I will come back and get back to it. It is tough. It really is. But I would suggest, and I don't strike for her or anything. I am just a customer. I would recommend at least grabbing one roll because of how few yards she orders of this stuff and how quickly it tends to go out of stock. And I think once people realize how close to leather this is, it's not going to stick around for very long. I think she did order a lot more of this when she initially ordered it, but vinyl still doesn't stick around her shop very long. So, all right, I'm going to go get him and get him some lunch, and then I will probably be back in about an hour and a half. So, nope, actually, he has an appointment at 1 o'clock. So I can come back for about an hour while he's at his appointment. So I'm going to say 1:15 or 1:20 Central Time is when I'll come back to work on this. So if you're around, I'll hopefully see you then. Bye-bye.